She said, "Whatever, Major Loser."
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 Disney Channel villains of all time.
Why go through all this?
I'll do anything to save humanity from evil.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most iconic villains in Disney Channel history. There'll be some serious spoilers, so this is your official warning. Which Disney Channel villain do you think is the most intimidating? Let us know in the comments. Number 20, Muriel P. Finster, Recess. Muriel Finster may seem like a cold-hearted woman, but underneath her icy shell is an educator who genuinely cares about her students. She's willing to go to extreme lengths to get her students to follow the rules. She even recruited the help of a student to spy on everyone.
What have you got for me today, Randall?
Well, Hector Gecko made himself throw up to get out of a spelling quiz.
However, despite all of her faults, she still wants the best for her students, and has even fought on their behalf. The funniest part is that while her rules are extreme, they are for the best. When she isn't in charge, chaos breaks out on the playground. While flawed, she is a very realistic character, and teachers in real life found themselves relating to her.
The school, the halls, the grass, the windows, the flagpole, and the kids. They're your calling, Muriel.
I know. Without my gentle guidance, they're lost. They need me, Hank.
Number 19, Larry Houdini. Don't look under the bed.
If a child stops believing in an imaginary friend too soon, the imaginary friend may turn into a boogeyman.
The main villain in this fantasy horror film is the Boogeyman, who turns out to be Frances's imaginary friend Zoe. But her brother Darwin's imaginary friend Larry is the one to whom we dedicate this entry.
Well, what's your name anyway?
Houdini. Larry.
Thanks to more screen time and a fun performance from Ty Hodges, he's a much more rounded character, at times charming, at others terrifying. When he turns into a boogeyman himself, his purple eyes and twisted teeth are the stuff of nightmares. He still genuinely cares for Darwin though, and ultimately teaches the siblings that even grown-ups need wonder in their lives. Number 18, Chip Whistler, Big City Greens. While Chip Whistler starts out as a petty rival, he becomes more and more evil over the course of Big City Greens. He's wealthy, entitled, and dead set on achieving his goals, no matter who they hurt.
Bye-bye, Greens! Oh, no.
He'll do anything to drive the Greens out, even destroying the area around their home. Eventually, he ends up being banned from Big City entirely.
Well, Chip, looks like you're the one who doesn't belong in Big City.
Why you?
Bingo, bango.
Disney usually creates villains with a layered backstory to explain their behavior, but in this series, they let Chip's selfish actions speak for themselves. Number 17, Cadet Captain Jennifer Stone, Cadet Kelly. Cadet Captain Jennifer Stone made it incredibly clear that she was not to be messed with as soon as she came on screen in Cadet Kelly.
You're on my list, maggot.
She proved it by stomping on Kelly's beloved blanket when she felt disrespected. Her feud with Kelly didn't end there, though. It seemed as though she was on a mission to drive her away from the military school entirely.
And I have a present for you. Around here, we call it a court-martial.
However, when Stone and Kelly are forced to work together, they realize that they aren't so different. Underneath Stone's rigid exterior, she's just a teenager with a bit of power. Stone's redemption arc is admirable. By the end of the movie, she goes from being cold and emotionless to fun-loving and carefree. Number 16, Lord Dominator, Wander Over Yonder. Despite not being introduced until the second season of Wander Over Yonder, Lord Dominator made such an impact that she changed the course of the show. Living up to her name, she's the strongest villain in the show, which is evidenced by her imprisoning all of her adversaries.
Hater's the only villain who hasn't bowed down before me. I called you here to admit that I am the greatest in the galaxy.
At her most powerful, she had the ability to control the elements. What makes her so interesting is that she genuinely thinks being evil is funny. This trait is also her ultimate downfall. She spends so much time toying with her enemies that she gives them enough time to defeat her.
Oh, it's thrilling to be a villain. I destroy their homes and then I
Number 15. Tess Tyler, Camp Rock. Some of Disney Channel's most iconic villains are just insecure theater kids, and Camp Rock's Tess Tyler is a shining example. The moment she meets Mitchie, she relegates her to background vocals to prevent competition. She even went so far as to frame Mitchie and her friend for theft. While Tess's intentions may seem cruel, underneath her facade is a girl who has only ever wanted her mother to notice her.
Yeah, you can totally call me back. Love you too. Have a good concert. As usual.
Seeing Tess stumble during her final performance helped humanize her, and audiences couldn't help but pity her. While she does redeem herself in the sequel, her behavior in the first movie would have real-life mean girls shaking in their boots.
Okay, that was on purpose.
Doesn't matter. Anything makes that outfit look better. See?
Number 14. Kate Sanders, Lizzie McGuire. Kate Sanders is one of the more relatable villains to appear on Disney Channel. She was actually Lizzie's best friend as a child, but they grew apart as they got older. Lizzie chose to stay true to their original group, while Kate chose to hang out with the popular kids at school, and subsequently turned on her former friends.
I can't believe you guys are about to leave before all the cool people get here.
Oh, well, that's us. Big fat losers.
Yeah.
But
This story resonated with people who had also lost their best friends to cliques in high school. While Kate is often incredibly mean, she does have moments where she's genuinely kind, and we can see that girl that Lizzie was originally friends with.
I like seeing you as a normal person.
Number 13. Phantos, Twitches. Phantos is one of the Disney Channel's more terrifying villains. Unleashing the darkness on the magical dimension of Coventry, he kills his own brother in a bid to take over. However, as scary as he is, there's also something pitiful about his ultimately futile attempts.
I beat you here by a good 5 minutes.
Apollo, I'm so relieved.
Whatever, loser.
Underneath the terrifying exterior of the darkness is the shell of a man, willing to do the most nefarious things for even a drop of power. The most unnerving aspect of his character is that he pretends to be the twins' loving uncle. When his betrayal is revealed, the family is genuinely shocked.
My brother had everything and appreciated nothing. He had the power, he had Coventry, and he had you.
Number 12. Curator Pawns, Amphibia.
Whoa, look at this hot mess.
While there are other villains in Amphibia, the one that scares and also impresses us the most is Curator Pawns. He's modeled after Gravity Falls character Grunkle Stan, an Easter egg that fans loved.
Little on the nose, but okay.
The nefarious frog's goal is to imprison Amphibia's rare creatures as statues in his wax museum. The scariest part is that all the creatures he catches are still alive, and all they can do is watch helplessly as they're put on display. Pawns even attempts to turn one of the main characters, Anne, into a statue, but is luckily stopped. Like many Disney Channel villains, Pawns has a satisfying end. After the creatures have been freed, they all take their revenge on the evil frog. Number 11. Yon Lo, Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior. This fearsome spirit is one of the most powerful villains to come out of the Disney Channel. Besides being a formidable warrior on his own, he also has the ability to possess others and to imbue them with superhuman strength.
The Lord of Darkness commands you to awaken!
The movie Wendy Wu sees him on the warpath to destroy Wendy and achieve world domination. By the end, he's possessed nearly everyone in Wendy's life, even her dog. His true form is as a terracotta warrior with bright green eyes. While Wendy is able to defeat him in the end, with Shen's help, it was a near thing. Number 10. The Gross Sisters, the Proud Family. The Gross Sisters certainly live up to their name. In the Proud Family, they mercilessly bully Penny and her friends, stealing their lunch money.
You know the drill. Hands up, cash out.
Their names might be a play on the skincare brands Neutrogena, Nivea, and Olay, but there's nothing soft about them. While the characters seem irredeemable on the surface, we eventually learn that they act the way they do due to their family, not because they actually want to be bad. In the revival, the Gross sisters have learned the error of their ways, and even created a record label named after their childhood antics.
Hands up, yep, give me all your cash. No fuss, just put it in the bag. Gross sisters, we gon' have the last laugh. Hands up, cash out, here to take all you have.
Number 9. David Xanatos, Gargoyles.
Nothing terrifies me, because nothing is beyond my ability to change.
Disney Channel villains have a habit of being either over the top and ridiculous or not too bright. But David Xanatos is cut from a different cloth entirely. Competent, confident, and calculating, he has the wealth and the intellect to change the world, but focuses all his power into becoming immortal. He's been likened to an evil version of Tony Stark. His cunning and manipulation made him a compelling villain throughout the series. In fact, the trope Xanatos Gambit, in which all possible outcomes of a plan benefit the creator, is named after him.
He set up his own assassination attempt.
But why?
He wants your brother. And what David Xanatos wants, he gets.
Number 8. Emperor Bellos, the Owl House. It isn't often that the Disney Channel makes a villain completely villainous, but when they do, they are terrifying. Emperor Bellos of the Owl House is on a quest to eradicate magical beings from the world. The masked villain is actually a human witch hunter named Philip Whitbane, who murdered his own brother Caleb after falling in love with a witch.
She dazzled him with magic and visions of a strange yet beautiful place.
Ironically, he himself is an incredibly powerful magic user. Even destroying his body isn't enough to kill him. His most terrifying aspect is his true form, a deformed skeletal monster. His eerie design shows that he's just as evil on the outside as he is on the inside.
Caleb, you would stab me in the back?
You did it to him first.
Number 7. Bill Cipher, Gravity Falls. Who knew that an otherworldly entity could have such a normal name? Bill Cipher's name may be innocuous, but he is anything but.
I know he's older than our galaxy and far more twisted.
Throughout Gravity Falls, his main objective was to take over the world. While that may seem like a classic villain goal, what sets Bill apart is that he actually has the ability to. He's incredibly powerful, with his abilities ranging from mind reading to warping reality. Seeing how much damage he caused when he was finally freed, and knowing that it could have happened earlier, made fans realize that this show was not messing around, and wasn't the average Disney Channel cartoon.
Weather today calls for black clouds, blood rain, and frequent showers of eyeball bats turning people into stone. I'm Chandra Jimenez, and I ate a rat for dinner.
Number 6. Calabar and Cal, Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. This father-son duo wreaked havoc throughout the first 2 installments of the Halloween Town franchise. Calabar set the tone by attempting to overthrow the human world, incensed that his former love left him for a mortal.
You could have ruled with me as my queen, but you chose a human instead.
Talk about a petty motive for such nefarious deeds. Although he was defeated, his son Cal rose to take his place in the sequel. Cal is even more manipulative than his father, taking advantage of Marnie's kindness to suck all of the color out of Halloween Town. What made these two terrifying was their unwavering desire for control, no matter who they hurt. Like father, like son.
And when my father tried to bring the creatures of Halloween Town back as rulers of the human race, you Cromwells brought everyone against him. And then you destroyed him!
Number 5. Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, Phineas and Ferb. Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz is one of the most beloved and instantly recognizable villains in Disney Channel history.
Oh, Patty the Platypus! I can't believe you fell for that old fake window trick!
While he started off as a typical evil genius, constantly creating machines to take over the tri-state area, fans soon realized there was much more to the inventor. A single father, he cares very much for his daughter Vanessa, and ultimately wants to give her the happy life he never got as a child.
Hey, sweetheart, how'd you like to take a ride in a real bike? She's 16!
His inventions also become wackier as the series goes on. Soon, it almost felt as though he was only creating his machines to get Perry the Platypus to visit him. With every failed attempt, fans couldn't help but love him even more. Dr. Doofenshmirtz is proof that being a villain doesn't necessarily make someone straight up evil. Number 4. Negaduck, Darkwing Duck, and DuckTales. In the original Darkwing Duck series, Negaduck was essentially the antithesis of Darkwing Duck. Purely evil, his main goal is to destroy the city that Darkwing works hard to protect.
Oh, how sweet. A beautiful dove, the symbol of peace. Perhaps I should feed it to a cat.
The DuckTales revival brought back both characters, revealing that Darkwing Duck was actually a TV show within the DuckTales universe, getting its own reboot. When the actor who once portrayed Darkwing Duck hears about this, he grows so upset that he takes on the mantle of Negaduck in real life. It was a clever way to reboot the character, and fans were impressed by the meta humor.
Ah, cool! A big budget reboot of a thing I loved as a kid! Those are always great!
Number 3. Sharpay Evans, the High School Musical franchise. Sharpay isn't a true villain. At her core, she's a talented and driven young woman who'll do anything to achieve her dreams.
Kicking and scratching, grinding out my best.
Anything it takes to climb the ladder of success.
Unfortunately, that involves sabotaging Troy and Gabriella at every turn, from changing the date of the callback audition to treating Gabriella poorly at her job. However, despite all of that, fans of the series can't help but love her. She has a heart of gold beneath the cool surface, which comes out at the end of each movie. Not to mention, she is genuinely talented and consistently serves amazing looks. What more can we say? She's truly fabulous.
I need something inspiring to help me get along. I need a little fabulous. Is that so wrong?
Number 2. Shigo, Kim Possible.
Her name's Shigo. She's wanted in 11 countries.
This criminal mercenary proved to be a formidable opponent even for Kim. Although she worked for various villains, she was often in the employ of mad scientist Dr. Draken.
Where's Draken and what's he up to?
Yeah, as if I can understand his whacked plans. Please.
Shigo, time to fly!
Next time, princess.
Without her as his henchman, many of his evil schemes would have failed from the get-go. Even though Draken was technically her boss, she was hardly a subordinate, even calling the shots sometimes. Perhaps her scariest attribute was her explosive temper. Her skilled fighting abilities were complemented by her energy projection powers, making her an incredibly tough villain to tango with.
Hey, Eric's cute. Once you're out of the picture, maybe I'll date him.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Dimitri Denatos. Mom's got a date with a vampire. He may be charming, but his real intention was to turn their mother into a vampire. Parker Windham and Mr. Lutz. Xenon, girl of the 21st century. They planned to crash the space station for the insurance money.
This really was inspired, sir. Sending such a popular group up to the space station hours before it's going to self-destruct. What a perfect smoke screen to keep any fingers from ever being pointed at you.
Seamus McTiernan, the luck of the Irish. This luck stealer is really an evil leprechaun.
If you believe in the little people, and you know that there's a pot of gold at the end of every rainbow, then you belong to the sage of the step.
Obake, Big Hero 6, the series. This mysterious villain hopes to recreate the Great Catastrophe.
I'm awful sorry, mister. I totally messed up your order.
Did you collect all the information I requested?
Golly, I sure did, mister.
Well then, I'd say you did just fine.
Jean Thierry, Rapunzel's Tangled Adventures. The ancient demon used her powers to manipulate Cassandra into betraying Rapunzel.
You lost before you even began, girl. Just like your mother, felled by your own ego.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You'll have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Uma, Descendants 2. The best part of the Descendants franchise is that each villain is complex and layered. Even the most antagonistic characters, such as the charming yet insidious Uma, have specific motivations behind their behavior. The daughter of Ursula, Uma was bullied by Mal when she was younger and has sworn vengeance.
That little traitor who left us in the dirt.
You turned her back on evil. Who said you weren't big or bad enough to be in her gang.
She's fiercely determined in everything she does, from protecting her friends to kidnapping her enemies, which makes her a fun villain to root for, belting out some of the best songs in the series, and taking on every threat with a smile. She's become one of Disney's best villains to date.
This is all hands on deck. Calling out to lost boys and girls. I'm getting tired of the disrespect. We won't stop till we rule the world.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.